So now, scooch back a little. Good. So I just like something there. I like some kind of stability, okay? Because as I push, this table is gonna give, and I don't like that. And it slopes downward. So when we're doing joint mobilization, I'm gonna use my body as much as I can. And I'm gonna place my mobilizing hand right over where I think the talus is. The other stabilizing hand needs to be over the distal tib fib, okay? You can use your body as much as you can to help facilitate this into dorsiflexion as much as they can tolerate. Because remember, they've injured it acutely, okay? So then we're gonna place our body weight, straight arm, nice line of force, and we're gonna lean in to the ankle, okay? I'm putting my body weight into it until I feel where's my grade 3 or 4, okay? I'm not gonna bounce out of my grade 3 or 4. I'm gonna stay into the end point, and that's where I'm going to oscillate for my mobilizations. Everyone learns a little differently, whether it's a 30-second mobilization or a 45-second, or just do what you feel you've learned the most appropriately. I'm usually around 30 seconds at a time. I'll back out and I'll go back in. That's one you should already know how to do this, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Talar distraction. I just need a chair. Thank you. I like to sit for distraction, okay? Because I can get to their level and I can use my foot against my table to create some leverage. We're going to go hand over hand. Some people like this, okay? If your hand fits that foot, great. If not, we go hand over hand. It's like we're scooping the joint towards me to create dorsiflexion as much as they can tolerate. From there, we're going to create a distraction. I am just going to lean back, okay? I'm gonna put my foot against my table to help create leverage, and I'm leaning back, okay? I like this. And we oscillate our joint play, okay? Simple, easy, have a nice discussion, chat it out. What'd you do this weekend? Let's get your ankle feeling a little bit better, okay? So we start with talar distraction. Then we go on top into the posterior talar glide that you just saw. So first we're here, then we stand up and we load. We don't want to be like this. This is not great force production. So we want to be right on top, create that line of force. That's where it's going into, okay? Then from there, we're going to do a medial or lateral talar glide, likely medial, because we're going to assume it's a plantar flexion inversion sprain, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to find where we think the talus is. So if you just give a few little mobs here, you're going to feel it pop into your finger, okay? It should be right in here. We're going to go thumb next to thumb, or thumb over thumb as a dummy thumb underneath, mobilizing thumb on top. And from there, you see my hand, one around the foot, one around the tib fib, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to nudge my thumbs medially force towards the talus, and my hands create this little motion. Do you see that? I'm doing this. I'm facilitating the motion of for eversion, like so, okay? Very simple, very easy. We don't have to smash on it. Remember, it hurts under there. There's probably some fluid and some swelling. So we want to encourage the talus to go medially. Now you've got a lot of little tendons running in here. You can kind of find right in the groove there where I'm not smashing on her tendons. rather I'm on the bone, I'm on the joint. Okay, so we've got this little, do you see what my hand is doing here as I kind of create a little eversion moment as I'm nudging one thumb against the other. Okay, now vice versa, if this were a plantar flexion, or that I needed plantar flexion, I would come onto this side, and again, I would find, where does that talus kind of pop into me? There's a little groove right there, and then I would just nudge it along. Okay, typically though, we're coming medially. All right, if I flip her over and we let the foot hang off, but move up just a bit more, good. Again, we still want that support. We want the foot hanging off naturally. We want to stabilize there. Wherever the foot kind of naturally falls into a little plantar flexion, that's where I'm going to encourage it. But what we're not going to necessarily do is come straight down. We're going to need to angle a little bit into the plantar flexion, that angle, the oblique angle of the ankle of the foot. Okay? So it's like I'm not right here. I'm kind of here, and my force is almost like that. Okay? So again, that should not be new to you. You need a stabilizing hand and you need a mobilizing hand to create the motion that you want. Okay? I'm going to have you stay right there. So then we have the calcaneus. Okay? You can do a couple ways with the calcaneus. One, I'm going to just shimmy her a little bit. So I want you to come a little closer to me this way. Good. And then can you raise my table, please? So I could sit, or I could try to come up here, and what we're going to do, great, perfect. So we're going to lay my arm along her leg. I'm going to stabilize, and then all I'm going to do is nudge the calcaneus. Okay, I'm just going to create a little distraction. Okay, so this is another one that you could do first. Talar distraction, calcaneal distraction. Posterior glide of the talus, medial glide of the talus. That's a complete treatment. And then we add the fibula. Okay, so while she's here, can you drop me back down? So now we're going to use the entire height of my table, that drop. Because what you're going to need, what you're going to need, I'm going to show it on this side in a second. What you're going to need is low table, because you're going to need to probably get up here, okay? And then what the goal is to grab the lateral calcaneus with the heel of my hand, which is then going to push straight down. I'm going to monitor down there with my finger because I should feel the proximal tib fib mobilize. I should feel it move because I'm pushing through the calcaneus to into the fibula. Okay? You check yourself, make sure you've got it, and that's a nice way in, because a lot of times on an acute ankle, they are not going to let you push right here. It is going to be sore and painful. They won't let you do it. So you do it indirectly through another bone. Okay, again, for this side of the table, I was right here. I kind of bisect. I place the heel. Again, if you think about being on the lateral side, that's calcaneal eversion. That's what I want. I'm going to use it to my advantage to push right through, literally into the table, and I should feel motion down here. And then I lock out and I create my mobility. Okay, so I kind of use a lot of body weight with that to generate that kind of force. Flip around, because the alternative would be something like this. The alternative would be, here's my distal fibula. We want to capture it. Relax your foot. And I need to nudge it. Okay? No fresh ankle sprain is going to let me do that. okay? Later they will, but not early they won't, okay? And then you can always come up here and you could grab this into a little bit of a glide that way. And then your soft tissue work to free that up. But no one's gonna let me do that. That's a chronic ankle sprain that's been a year out, that's still stiff, that I can really go there.
Is that more effective being that you are able to put direct force onto the fibula?
Yeah, and they're both effective.
Mhm.
Whether you go through the calcaneus or they're both gonna be effective. And actually, they both work really well in chronics because a lot of times the chronics get stuck and you've gotta use your body weight to get in there. Okay? So both are very effective. It's just what you feel most comfortable with. Okay? But those are two more advanced. Sometimes we don't talk about the fibula, but we need to because part of the fibula's issue is it gets stuck down. So if you can push that up, if you can push this back, if you can push this medially, oftentimes you can then get a talar manipulation and then everything's gonna start to move really nicely. But generally we won't get that talus to manip unless this guy's up a little bit. So they kind of gotta go together. So it's distraction. We have distraction of the calcaneus on the belly. We've got a posterior glide, an anterior glide if you need it for plantar flexion, medial glide or lateral glide for plantar flexion, medial glide for dorsiflexion, and then we've got a mob and a prone knee flexed tib fib mobilization. So those are what we'll practice